Hello and welcome back to prestigious sport, the exciting world of football, where dreams take flight, heroes are born, and the future glows with promise. Today, we're talking about team's most disappointing player this season. Let's get into it. Right, I'm going to start with Man United, and after a disappointing campaign and performance level, if not results, there are a number of candidates. You could go for Antony, who is now just. I don't even know what choice he is for Ten Hag. But he's not really in the picture. You could go for Bruno Fernandes, who's probably had a bit of a drop-off compared to last year, same as Casemiro. Rafael Varane, amidst injury issues, probably still hasn't delivered on that form, shown at Real Madrid. But for many reasons, I'm going to go with Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford was absolutely sensational last year. He scored 30 goals. He was named Man United Player of the Year. He was named Premier League Fans Player of the Year as well. A pretty incredible accolade which showed just how high his stock was. But this year, different story. Just 8 goals and 6 assists in 35 games in all competitions. And if it wasn't for the last few games, where he has shown an upturn in form with, I believe, 5 goals in his last 9 league games, we'd be talking about potentially the worst season of his professional career. Now, Marcus Rashford has shown this sort of inconsistency in seasons gone by. The season prior to last year was really disappointing as well. But this year, his shot on target percentage has dropped to 39%, the worst record of his professional career. He looks sort of disinterested at times. His link-up with his teammates has been poor, and at a time when they really needed him to step up with Rasmus Højlund new to the country, with Anthony still struggling for form, with Sancho having departed with Mason Greenwood no longer at the club. They really needed Marcus Rashford to carry Man United's attack this season, and he just hasn't proved good enough. It's been a huge disappointment. Alright, next up, let's go to one of the other big teams in the Premier League who have underperformed this season. No surprises. It's Chelsea. Now, there are a lot of players in this Chelsea side who you could single out for underperforming or simply just having a real horror show of a season. You know, you think of Raheem Sterling's recent performances have not been good enough, or someone like Reece James, whose injuries have really caught up with him. This season now, and someone like Malo Gusto now making that right-back slot his own not great for the club captain. You look at someone like Ben Chilwell, whose performances since coming back from injury have also been under par. You look at new signings like Axel Disasi, who's been quite error-prone at points. Someone like Badiashile, who just hasn't been able to get into the team and has looked shaky when he has been there. But I'm actually going to go with Thiago Silva. Yes, this does feel very, very harsh. Thiago Silva, one of the greatest centre-backs of his generation, probably one of the best centre-backs of all time, to be honest. Certainly one of the most underrated. And he is 39. He's 40 in September. The fact that he's got this far in his career and is still playing at the level that he is remarkable. But since Chelsea signed him in 2020, I think there's a very strong argument that he has been Chelsea's most important player up until this season. But this term, his performances have taken a noticeable dip. Now, it certainly isn't easy being almost the only veteran in the youngest squad in the league, a squad that has not played together much at all up until this term, with Pochettino having to do. You know, a really difficult job getting this side to gel, and it has at points. But defensively, they have been caught out so many times this season. And Thiago Silva, for the first time in his Chelsea career, has come unstuck. There have been a number of games this term in which we've seen him either caught out of position, or making an error, or just not simply having the legs to be able to fulfill his role in the centre of that back line. And I think it's probably a system thing more than anything. You know, Pochettino's style of play is a lot more high energy, a lot more high pressing than, say, Thomas Tuchel's was, which was a lot more conservative, a lot more about the slow build-up, which I think does suit Thiago Silva's game a lot more, especially at this point in his career. It just feels like Pochettino's system and Thiago Silva just isn't a good fit. Right, to wrap up the episode, I'm going to Brentford, who have had a pretty disappointing season. Obviously, they've had massive injury issues across the entire side. Ivan Toney could only come back from that 18th-month ban in, January, February time, and has responded reasonably well since, with 4 goals in 10 games. But I'm actually going to go with Mark Flekken as their most disappointing player this season. Mark Flekken was signed from Freiburg. He'd spent 2 years as their number 1, 5 years at the club, and he had big boots to fill. Of course, David Raya was sensational for Brentford for a number of years. Earned that move to Arsenal, where he is on loan. But we expect that deal to become permanent in the next few months. Mark Flekken, huge disappointment. I think only 2 goalkeepers in Europe's top 5 leagues have a worse record in terms of post-shot expected goals. So that's the amount of goals conceded against the standard or the quality of shots they faced as well, which is pretty shocking given he is a Dutch international. Given the reputation he had in the Bundesliga, he hasn't been good enough. Brentford are 10th by expected goals against. That rates the quality of shots conceded. So they've got the 10th best defence in the whole Premier League. But actually, in reality, only 3 sides, Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United, have conceded more goals, and that is in large part down to Mark Flekken's performance. He needs to up his game. As we unfold the players who's disappointed us in this season, one question remains: what heights will they reach or not? What you think? Drop your thoughts in comments. Cheers to the stars of the beautiful game. Want to stay updated on the latest in football and the rise of these stars? Hit that subscribe button and join us on Prestigious Sport for all the excitement and action in football. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Until the next episode, stay calm, cheered, and curious. See you!